You're about to hand over $7,000 for a transmission rebuild that should have cost $3. And the worst part? The people smiling at you from behind the service counter knew that before you even walked in. So let me ask you something honest right now. Have you ever driven away from a dealership repair feeling like you just got taken for a ride, not just on the bill, but on your trust? Because I want you to pause this video for just a second and type in the comments exactly how much you overpaid the last time a dealership told you, only we can fix this right. Go ahead, I'll wait. But here's the scary part. What if I told you that most of the time the dealership isn't even fixing the real problem? They're just resetting a code, hiding a symptom, and handing you a ticking time bomb wrapped in a clean loaner car and a free coffee. And that coffee? That's the most honest thing they give you all day. You see, I've been inside the service bays of 3 different major truck dealerships, not as a customer, but as someone who wanted to know where your money actually goes. And what I found made me sick to my stomach. The first thing you need to understand is that dealership service departments are not designed to save you money. They're not even designed to fix your truck correctly. They are designed to maximize what the industry calls RO per RO, revenue per repair order. That means every single time you roll through those big glass doors, you are not a customer. You are a walking wallet. And the service advisor, that friendly person who seems so concerned about your safety, they get paid commission on every line item they sell you. Brake fluid flush at 30,000 miles even though your owner's manual says 60,000. That's an extra $40 in their pocket. Fuel induction service that does absolutely nothing for a modern direct injection engine, another 60. And you pay it because you trust that blue oval, that bow tie, that ram's head on the building. But it gets worse, way worse. Let's talk about the hidden truth that dealerships pray you never learn. The parts they install are often not the same as what came on your truck from the factory. I know, that sounds crazy, right? You think you're getting genuine OEM parts, and technically you are, but there's a secret tier system inside every automaker. There's factory first-run parts that go on new vehicles. Then there's service parts that are made in different factories, sometimes in different countries, with lower quality control standards. And then there's the real nightmare, what insiders call warranty-grade components. These are parts that passed inspection but barely. They're stamped with the same logo, packed in the same box, but they fail 30% faster. And the dealership charges you premium price for second-tier junk. I've personally watched a service advisor sell a customer a new OEM alternator for $800, only to see the tech pull a remanufactured unit from a dusty shelf in the back, a unit that had already failed once and was rebuilt by the lowest bidder. That alternator lasted 11 months, right after the 1-year parts warranty expired. Coincidence? Not a chance. And here's where your brain starts to connect the dots. Why do so many trucks seem to have the exact same failure at the exact same mileage? Why does every 2019 to 2022 half-ton with the 10-speed transmission start shuddering right around 45,000 miles? Why does that particular diesel engine eat its own fuel pump right after the powertrain warranty ends? Because the manufacturers know. They absolutely know. They have failure analysis teams that predict exactly when a component will die within a tolerance of about 5,000 miles. And they still design it that way because a part that lasts forever is a part they only sell you once. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's called planned obsolescence, and it's taught in every automotive engineering program in the country. But the dealership isn't just a victim of this system. They're an active participant. They get paid to install the same flawed part that failed the first time, and then they get paid again when it fails again. It's the perfect recurring revenue model disguised as repair. Now I want you to think about the last time a dealership told you that your truck needed something urgent. Something like, "Sir, your front control arm bushings are cracked. This is a safety issue." Did they show you a picture on an iPad? Did they point to a little bit of surface cracking that every rubber bushing gets after 3 winters? That's a classic upsell. Those bushings might have another 40,000 miles of perfectly safe life left. But fear is the most powerful tool in their toolbox. They know that if they can make you afraid for your family's safety, you'll sign anything. And here's the dirty secret. Most service advisors have 0 mechanical training. 0. They're salespeople who learned a script. They don't know the difference between a tie rod end and a CV axle. They just know how to point at a screen and say, "Recommended." Meanwhile, the actual technician, the person who might actually know what's wrong, gets paid flat rate. That means they only make money if they beat the clock. So what do you think happens when a book says a job pays 4 hours, but the tech can do it in 2? They rush. They cut corners. They reuse single-use bolts. They don't torque things to spec. They do just enough to make it leave the bay. And you drive away with a repair that's already failing before you hit the highway. And it gets worse, because now I have to tell you about the scan tool lie. You've heard this one before. We ran a diagnostic and the computer says you need a new oxygen sensor. So you pay $600, they replace it, and the check engine light comes back on 3 days later. Then they say, oh, it must have been the catalytic converter all along. Another $1,200. But here's what they didn't tell you. The computer never said that. The computer just reported a voltage reading outside the expected range. That could be a sensor, a wiring issue, an exhaust leak, a vacuum leak, or even a bad ground connection. A real technician diagnoses. A dealership technician replaces parts until the problem goes away, and you pay for every guess. I have personally watched a dealership throw $3,000 in parts at a simple vacuum leak that any independent shop would have found in 20 minutes with a smoke machine. But the dealership doesn't own a smoke machine because guessing pays better. Now, before I go any further, I need you to do something for yourself. If you want to stop getting ripped off, if you want to know the real secrets that dealerships hide behind their fancy waiting rooms, you need to hit that like button right now and subscribe to this channel. I'm not asking for a favor. I'm telling you that every single video I make could save you thousands. And the algorithm? It needs to know that you're serious about protecting your money. So smash that like button, turn on the notification bell, and then come back here because the next part is going to blow your mind. We haven't even talked about the biggest money pit of all, dealership maintenance packages. You know the ones. For only $49.95 a month, you get all your recommended maintenance. Sounds great until you realize they're changing your oil every 5,000 miles when your truck calls for 7,500 or even 10,000. They're replacing air filters every 15,000 miles instead of 30,000. They're doing alignment checks every 10,000 miles, even though your tires are wearing perfectly. You're paying for services you don't need, performed at intervals designed to maximize their throughput, not your engine's longevity. And here's the kicker. Most of those packages have a clause that says recommended maintenance based on severe duty schedule. Severe duty means towing max load in the desert or driving through deep snow every day. It does not mean your commute to the office and the occasional Home Depot run. But they apply it anyway because it doubles the number of billable visits per year. You're paying twice as often for half the value. And what about the loaner car? That shiny new vehicle they hand you with a smile? That's not a courtesy. That's a leash. Because once you're comfortable driving something newer and quieter and shinier than your own truck, suddenly that $4,000 repair estimate doesn't look so crazy compared to the $800 a month payment on that loaner's showroom twin. It's psychological warfare, and they've perfected it. They want you to feel like your truck is old, tired, and needy so that the next time something breaks, you don't fix it, you trade it. And guess who makes money on the trade, the new sale, the financing, and the next round of overpriced repairs? Same company, same building. Same smiling faces, but let me tell you about the absolute worst repair I ever saw at a dealership. A guy brings in his 3-year-old diesel truck for a check engine light. Dealership says it needs a complete fuel system, injectors, pump, rails, the whole thing. Estimate, $12,000. The customer, who saved for years to buy this truck, is devastated. He authorizes the work because he's scared. They do the job, he picks it up, drives 20 miles, and the light comes back on. He takes it back. Now they say it needs a second fuel system because the first one failed due to contamination. Another $12,000. He refuses. He tows it to an independent diesel shop 2 towns over. That shop finds a single bad fuel pressure sensor and a chafed wire. Repair cost? $480. The truck ran perfectly for another 100,000 miles. The dealership had misdiagnosed it twice, charged him for parts he didn't need, and would have happily charged him again. That's not incompetence. That's negligence dressed up in a uniform. And here's the part that should make every truck owner angry. Dealerships have access to technical service bulletins, TSBs, that document known issues and the actual fix, but they don't have to tell you about them. So when your truck has a common problem that the manufacturer already knows about, the dealership can choose to replace 3 unrelated components at your expense instead of performing the simple, cheap fix that the TSB describes. Why? Because the simple fix might only pay the technician 0.3 hours, while replacing parts pays 3 hours. You pay for their greed. I've seen TSBs that say, reprogram transmission control module, 0.5 hours, turned into replace valve body and torque converter, 6 hours. Same symptom, same root cause, completely different bill. And the manufacturer? They don't care because they already got paid for the parts. Now you might be thinking, but doesn't the warranty protect me? Let me stop you right there. The warranty is not your friend. The warranty is a marketing tool. When your truck is under warranty, the dealership gets paid by the manufacturer at a reduced labor rate, sometimes half of what they charge retail customers. So guess what? Warranty work is a loss leader for them. They will do everything they can to convince you that your problem is normal, within spec, or caused by aftermarket parts. I've seen dealerships blame a leaking rear main seal on an aftermarket air filter. I've seen them deny a transmission failure because the owner installed different tires. They will find any excuse to push you out of warranty coverage and into retail billing. And if you fight them, they have lawyers. You have a truck that doesn't move. The hidden truth that nobody wants to say out loud is this: the dealership repair model is broken by design. It's not broken because of bad employees or greedy managers. It's broken because the incentives are aligned against you. The service department exists to sell cars, not to fix them. Every time you pay for a repair, you're subsidizing the free coffee, the shiny showroom, the sales team's commissions, and the massive building that sits on prime real estate. An independent shop doesn't have any of that overhead. They have a garage, some lifts, and a technician who owns the business. That technician wakes up every morning knowing that if they don't fix your truck right the first time, you'll never come back. A dealership service advisor wakes up knowing that you'll be back anyway because you're afraid to go anywhere else. And that fear is the most expensive thing you'll ever carry in your truck. So what do? First, you stop believing that the dealership has special tools or secret knowledge that nobody else can get. That's a lie. Any decent independent shop can buy the same scan tools, access the same repair databases, and perform the same work for 40 to 60% less. Second, you find a specialist. If you own a diesel, find a diesel shop. If you own a truck with a known transmission problem, find a transmission shop that sees 5 of them a week. They will know more than any dealership tech who sees that problem once a month. Third, you learn to say no. The next time a dealership calls with a recommended service, you ask one question: is this required to maintain my warranty, or is this an upsell? And you make them put the answer in writing. Watch how fast the tone changes. I want you to do something right now. Before you watch another video, before you drive another mile, go into the comments and tell me the worst dealership experience you've ever had. Tell me the dollar amount. Tell me the lie they told you. Because here's the thing, we only stop getting ripped off when we start talking about it. When we compare notes, when we realize that we're not unlucky, we're just unarmed with the truth. And the truth is that dealership repairs are a huge mistake. Not every single time, not for every single job, but often enough that the odds are stacked against you. They count on you not knowing. They count on you being busy, tired, and scared. Don't be. You have the power to take your truck anywhere you want. You have the power to get a second opinion. You have the power to pay with a credit card and dispute the charge if the repair doesn't fix the problem. You have more leverage than they want you to believe. And the next time someone behind a polished counter tells you, "Only we can do this," you smile, you take your keys, and you walk out. Because the only thing worse than a broken truck is a broken trust that costs you $10,000 to rebuild. Stay smart, stay skeptical, and I'll see you in the next video where I show you exactly how to find the honest mechanic in any town, and the one question you ask that makes every shop tell you the truth before they touch your truck. Don't forget to subscribe. Your wallet will thank you later.